Hey there friends, I'm Andrew and today I'm going to show you how to organize your Lego pieces.
Bloop, bloop.
Now to start organizing your Lego collection, you will need these following items. You will need 15 bins, you'll need some sort of energy drink, and you will need one or more companions. Yes, you're very good. The 15 containers are for the 15 different broad term sections of Lego. We'll start off with very large plates, smaller 2x blank plates, weird curved plates, curves, slopes, vehicle pieces, building pieces, 1x blank plates, regular bricks, small items, tiles, regular bricks, fancy stuff, and of course the forbidden computational items. Oh, and of course one container for all of your figures and your little animals. One of the big mistakes I see a lot of people make is they organize by color right away. Once you get these sorted into your 15 categories, then if your heart desires, you can sort them into different colors, but just sorting them into colors on their own isn't going to be very helpful. Let's take this full bin and put it somewhere. If you're completely insane like me, then you have your color selection. Category first, color selection second. These are all 1x bricks, but now they've been sorted into their different colors. As you can tell by the different layers of sun damage, I have thrifted most of my pieces. They do come secondhand, and this white bin is telling me I need to make some white buildings. The 1x bricks are used basically in every single build. I like to call them the walls of the world, because you literally build most of the walls out of these types of bricks. The magnitude of what you organize is completely up to you. For instance, my blue bin has blue, teal, light blue, dark blue in it, and my brown bin has, regular brown, the umber colors, all that stuff. And this one, those are all pinks, purples, and oranges because I don't have a lot of those, so why waste a whole bunch of bins on something that doesn't even take up a fourth of a bin? Or, since basic bricks are so big, they're not really sorted into any colors, as they're very easy to spot. If I want a blue one, I can see all the blue ones, etc., etc. Man, I really need a new Sterilite. These 2x plates are pretty self-explanatory. Now that they've been separated from everything else, I can separate them by color. Theoretically, you could separate them again by size, like the 2x4, the 2x3, the 2x6, but at that point, it's becoming redundant. Plus, with these colors and the 1x bricks, if I needed a 2x6 and I didn't have that, I could just use a 2x4 and a 2x2. These guys go here. Wouldn't it be nice if you just had a giant wall of all these things instead of having some in the closet and some down here and some over there? Absolutely, you bet your bottom dollar it would be, except for the fact that that's not real life. If I had infinite space, I would have a huge apothecary-style wall of all these pieces. But I don't, so I gotta make them fit under the city and in the closet and wherever else I gotta fit them. Obviously, some people don't have all of this space to dedicate to Lego, and therefore this wouldn't work for them. However, some people have huge garages, and this would be more than easy enough for them. In fact, they could take this a step further. So whatever works for you, works for you. Some of you might also realize that this is just a slim version of that, because these 1x bricks are just a more 3D version of the plates, and the flatter you get, the flatter the shelves get, but we're not done there. These 1x plates are basically those ones chopped in half, and guess what? Their little drawers are basically the previous drawers chopped in half. Now, these computational pieces are the most tricky because there are so many of them. And you could have drawers upon drawers of
tools and bars and snap rings and snap plates and regular bars and clips and steering wheels and regular wheels and gears, tech rods and all that stuff.
But what you don't ever want to do Because you don't ever want to have some giant, huge bin and just pour it in there, because that would be irresponsible, and I would never do that. Oh, hey, look, I organized all the computational pieces. Wow. These big plates sort just like the smaller plates, except unfortunately, instead of having nice drawers like this, I have them all hiding under the desk. Like I said, you gotta make it work for you, and unfortunately, this is how I've had to make it work. Curves are very interesting because you have domes, you have dishes, you have, these strange archways. You've got a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, 2 whole sections are just dedicated to the curves. For instance, this one right here is dedicated to all the little dome pieces. And the ones above it are dedicated to dishes and then whatever these things are. For the curves, I have to show you what might be really difficult for some of us to hear. And that is the fact that nothing can ever be perfect. There are so many curves, so many curved pieces, that I can't make a drawer for all of these. So there is the quote-unquote junk drawer of all of these curved pieces. And that's right there. I also have one for slopes. Now for the classic bricks, I do like to separate the rectangular bricks from the circular bricks. Mostly just because when you use them in building, they're used for very different purposes. And so I have my circular bricks in there, and my rectangular bricks in here. Surprisingly enough, all the weird plates just make their way into these drawers right here, just like the 2x-blank plates. I do usually corner off this little section in each color for just the circles. Slopes. Slopes have a couple different categories. We've got our 45 degrees, our inverted 45 degrees, our whatever degrees these are. I think they're like 33 degrees, something like that. Inverted 33 degrees are the majority of this. And then we've got subcategories of corner pieces and inverted corner pieces. And then up here you have the really tall ones and the inverted really tall ones. And of course, as mentioned before, you've got the category of weird ones, but then you also have small ones. You have these small 1x2 slope pieces and a bunch of little decorative slopes. Tiles. Alright, what do we got for tiles? Let's see. I've got weird tiles like the gray tiles, these 3 with the 2 studs on them, just, weird tiles up in this one. And then over here, I've got, I guess the dishes don't belong in the tile section, but shh, don't at me. We've got circular tiles, we've got 1x2 tiles, we've got long tiles, and that's 1x3 tiles. We got more long tiles, we got 1x2s with the stud in the middle, we've got 2x2s with the stud in the middle, we got big tiles, and last but not least, we have corner tiles. These architecture pieces are one of the categories that could honestly be left in one giant bin. However, since my mind can never let me rest, I've organized them into these categories. Mesh fences, ladders, railings, 6x4 or 6x6 gateways, fancy gateways, fancy railings, small windows with small doorways, other, because you always need an other, and then over here, 1x4x6 doorways, fancy gates, fancy windows and all the window pane glass, regular doors, tiny window frames, strange windows, most likely curved, and small windows. Now vehicles, I don't make very often, and they're just separated into 3 basic parts. We've got our wheels, we've got our windshields, and the body parts and everything else. Trains get their own separate box. Why? I don't know. Alright, now how do you organize your small pieces? Well, small pieces can be organized as such. That's not small pieces. We've got 1x1 bricks, 1x1 cylinders, 1x1 cones, and then even smaller, we've got 1x1 tiles. Oh boy, where am I putting these down? On the floor. 1x1 circle tiles, curve tiles, 1x1 plates, 1x1 slopes, and 1x1 cylindrical plates. Now the final two categories are minifigures and animals, as well as, decor pieces like plants and printed items. How do you categorize those? I'm not going to tell you. Well, I might tell you in another video, but I'm done with this video now. It's been a long time. How did this become such a huge project?